Hello, hello. YouTube, brand new thing for Detours. For folks who have never listened to an episode, my name's Mel. I am the host of Detours, an ultra cycling and adventure podcast. And I thought this conversation with this year's Tour Divide winner, Justinas Leveika, and now overall record holder was just too good to leave on only podcasting platforms. So, trying this YouTube thing out, uploaded today's conversation with Justin, and I hope you really like it. He is such an exceptional human being, and we talk all about his Tour Divide win, setting the record, and his approach to ultra cycling. You're bound to laugh, and would love your thoughts, comments, feedback on podcasts on YouTube. This is totally new to me, so learning as we go. But without further ado, let's chat with Justin Leveika. Hello, you beautiful person. I had to steal that out of your book. Justinas, you just finished the frickin' Tour Divide and broke the record. How are you feeling?
Hello, you beautiful people. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm surprisingly good. I mean, I don't know what's doing all this, but I mean, if that's the victory or like the adrenaline or whatever, but yeah, I felt good ever since.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's been a few days. Like it's Sunday today and you finished on Thursday, right?
Mm,
Thursday. I actually wrote it down. Thursday at 9:25 a.m.
yes, in the morning.
And last year you finished at night.
Yeah,
Does
Friday,
it feel different?
Friday, Friday at night. So I would have finished. Yeah. Couple of days, just yeah, like 48 hours ago. But now this year it's been a. I mean, the whole race was about to fix the mistakes that I've made the year
Yeah.
before. So I couldn't dream that they would add up to almost 36 hours. So I
Insane.
made quite a lot of mistakes last year, it turned out.
Well, we'll get to that in a second because I mean I know some of the mistakes, if you call them that, from last year and maybe other races and stuff like that. But for people who don't know you, you're Lithuanian, but now you live in Norway. How the heck did you end up from Lithuania to Norway?
That's you want the long story or short story?
Medium
No,
story.
all right. So I'm a nurse. I've studied to become a nurse in Lithuania. That's where I graduated from my studies. And just because of the situation at that time, because that was in 2013, yeah, 13, 14. Um, Nurses, they they always have been looked as a female dominant, or like it is a female dominant position, and yeah, I just couldn't see myself working in Lithuanian healthcare system as it was at that time. I had a good colleague during the studies, and she found out about Norway. And since we were learning from Norwegian books that were translated to Lithuanian, so we kind of already knew a lot about Norwegian healthcare system. And there it was, said all these fairy tales that there is 50-50, there's so many men, so many women, and it's so nice. I've always wanted to test theory against practice and see what's what. And yeah, we got through the interviews, we learned the language. To be fair, so later she got married and she couldn't live together with me. But so I went alone to Norway in 2014. So
Wow.
actually this May, it was 10 years since I came to
And
Norway.
now Norway is home now.
A base.
Base.
It's like you probably have seen how much I've been like. Yeah, it's there a lot has changed now since actually. Yeah, so just jumping a bit ahead of the whole thing. So 2 days ahead of Grand Depart was my last day as a manager of a long-term care home. So now I'm
Wow.
officially a gypsy, a full-time gypsy.
Gypsy. Or a full-time ultra cyclist, maybe.
Nah, that's not how I see myself. No,
No?
no, it's like I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I mean, I'm a nurse in the background, so I'm still gonna do some shifts but I just
Hmm.
downgraded myself. I can't see myself working as a manager any longer and combining all this.
Yeah.
And I haven't signed any contract that says that I'll be able to ride bikes when I'm 50 or 55 or 40 or whatever.
Yeah.
So I just want to do it now when I can and ride the wave and see where it's gonna take me. So there's no certain future, but I'm pretty sure that I can make my own future in some ways.
I think so. I mean, we'll get to it, but you just broke a record that's been standing for 8 years on what is maybe the most famous bikepacking race in the world, uh, which is incredible. So I imagine like the momentum from this win is only just starting. Like I'm getting all teary thinking about it. But like you are an icon. You are like a figure of legends now. I mean, you were already a wonderful person in the space, but you accomplished something really, really remarkable here. So you're riding the wave, and I think the wave is just only about to take off.
Yeah, but the bigger the wave, the harder you fall.
Well, this
Nah,
is
nah.
this is also true.
But in full respect, the records are there to be broken. So if
Hmm.
the only thing that I'm sure of is that my record gonna stand until next year. That's it.
Well,
Nothing else is certain. Is like we saw Lachlan's time, right? So he rode it under 12 days and under 13 days, so 12 days, 12 hours or something.
mhm.
And this just shows that yeah, it can be done faster. It's definitely and many years before we like me and Uba we were ahead and Jens we were all ahead of the record pace last year until the shit hit the fan and we got stuck in Great Basin. And years before as well, there were people who were ahead of the time of my call and just various stuff that stopped them from beating the record.
Mhm.
So yes, it's very nice when I can kind of pull it off and now say that I have done it. But I'm pretty sure like yeah things are there. The records are to motivate you, right? To
Mhm.
attract you to some certain stuff. I mean, probably I also wouldn't have done it if I wouldn't have had an idea that I could break it. Like,
Really?
we are all competitive persons, right? And
Yeah.
from what I've known and heard, so Mike was also the same. So that's why he came back to the same race a couple of times. Just he knew where he left mistakes, so he fixed those mistakes and put a solid time on the board, which stood for many years. Yeah, and but I had honor to talk to Mike's mother, Patricia, and she said that he knew that this is just the thing that
Mhm.
someone will come and try to break. That's it. This is what records are for, and I kind of see it the same. I I was there last year. I tried my luck. I mean, I learned last year's race and this year's race. They almost can't be compared. Like in a way, I've done them. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's like it is.
Wow. It's really, I think the perspective you bring to that is so healthy because all of these things are so fleeting, right? Like they're everything, it lasts for such a short period of time, and
Yeah.
then there's always be someone trying to gun harder. So we're going to get to the mistakes from last year and this year's race, but you've been a nurse up until I mean, you're still a nurse, but you're no longer a manager of a unit.
Mhm.
I'm curious, working as a nurse, do you think that's helped you thrive on less sleep?
Of course. Oh my God, I told it many, many times that this is my, this is, yeah, have been my life has been my best ultra coach. Because of this, the shifts I've done, because the hours I've worked, because all of that. I mean, there were periods in my life where I worked like 70-hour weeks and would
Crazy.
still train on top of that and do the other stuff, and that would last like in a couple of weeks, and then I would get like 2 weeks off and would get back to this. So yeah, so and there have been summers when I worked in, like, when I've turned 18, I was in England and working in chocolate factory.
No way.
Yeah, but that was night shifts, like 5 night shifts in a row, and I would, at the daytimes, I would get back from the night shift and I wouldn't want to go to bed because I would want to go and play soccer or football, or yeah, whatever you
Oh
call it.
my gosh.
Yeah, so this is all part of what I become. Like,
Yeah.
this is life. Life have taught me this, and I'm very happy that I found out about these ultra races, and I can use all my advantages that I have from life. This is
Yeah.
incredible.
I was gonna say why, like, it sounds like you've always been a very active person. I mean, you mentioned soccer, football, but it's really important to get more context about like your why because you did such a difficult thing, and it sounds like Ultra just pulls together all of those pieces for you of the things that you've learned throughout your life.
Mm. But yeah, so I always like to look for limits.
Yeah.
Limit, like, yeah, how long can you do this and that, and for how long can you ride a bike, for how long can you not sleep, for how long can you, and when you find some of those limits, it's a very fine game, like, like,
Mhm.
when you're looking for limits and when you find the limits, it can sometimes end on the wrong side of the so.
when was when was the last time you ended on the wrong side? Like, are there any races in the last year or last 2 years where you feel like you went to the wrong side of the limit?
Yeah, that must be Atlas in 2022, when I
Was that the you
crashed
crashed
out.
out?
Yeah, because that was when I kind of reached what, like, that was a disastrous race as well. It was a so many things got wrong there, and they just got into a big picture and build it up and until I couldn't handle it, and
I
then
think that
it.
was the first time I'd heard of you was Atlas in 2022, and we loved your Instagram updates. And then you're leading the race and you're on Instagram live saying that you've
Mm,
crashed. And I'm like, "Oh my god, this guy's got to get to a hospital. Like what is he doing on Instagram live?"
yeah.
Uh, I mean, Nelson was thinking the same thing too, but
No, at that time I wanted people to know everything. This was like everybody needs to know everything, and I saw this, like, when I started with these ultra races. So I understood quite quickly that dot watching is fun, but if you can supplement dot watching with some sort of inside information from the race, you
Mhm,
can make it so much interesting, like so much more interesting, and you can attract so much people to this sport and show
mhm.
them the inside of it. And I always was like, yeah, I always wanted to take people with me on my adventures and show them. I still do. I still kind of film and still,
I
but
didn't see a single update from you this entire
nah.
tour divide.
But it doesn't mean that I haven't filmed and I haven't, like, it's just like this
Yeah.
all posting shit is, it's like, um yeah, I wanted to be in the moment. I really soaked up all the moments I've been on the trail, like all 13 days. I just enjoyed it so much. I loved it. I mean, I really was there and just had fun. Rode my bike, slept a bit, not so much,
Yeah.
but ate. ate lots of different food. Like I always sometimes had sit down meals, drank all sorts of shit as well, and just and you don't care. You live like teenager, best teenager life, right? You eat all the fucking sweets
Junk
and
food,
junk
staying up
foods, and
late.
yeah, and stay up late, don't care much, and just like enjoy everything. And there was so many people. Oh my god, you can't imagine. Like there was so many dot
Oh,
watchers. It's been incredible. So I just didn't want to spoil it. You know, like you come to the petrol station, dot watcher comes, and I don't want to take out the phone and start uploading the stories.
yeah.
It's bullshit. Like, I mean, sorry for this, but like,
No, that's okay.
but I really think that, I mean, at least I wanted to be there and enjoy the time with them who took their time and came to the petrol station or came to the junction somewhere and just to say hello and just to wish me a good luck further and congratulate on how well I've done so far. So why would
That's
I take the
amazing.
fucking phone out? There's no way. Like I mean, yeah, some of them ask for the picture, and we have. I think there are plenty of selfies in the
There's
internet.
so many photos of you with random people in the Tour
Yeah,
Divide Facebook group. The best quote, though, on one of them was, "There's a photo of you and you look like a little bit far away from the guy."
yeah, yeah. No, I
And the
remember.
caption says, "Come closer. I won't bite. I actually like people."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't have a bubble around me. I remember very well because that
Yeah.
was climbing out of the Silverthorn and oh, how it's called. Yeah. And the guy was so inspiring. He was so good. I mean, wow, that guy actually really got me in the best possible way because he followed me with the truck. I was already climbing, and he came and rang the bell, and then he parked it further up, and I was because it was getting hot, so I was changing, and he really respected me, right? So he gave me all the
Mhm.
space. That's why the first pictures are from far
So
away.
far
Yeah,
away.
and I was just like, I thought that he's gonna take some pictures from far away, and then he's gonna come closer, but he's not coming closer. So I was like, dude, I'm not gonna buy it. If you're gonna come closer, so it's so far for me. You can really do this, and I think it's not against the rules. So he came then, and yeah, while I changed, we just exchanged we had a simple conversation, right, about how it's going and stuff. And then when he jumped in the car and turned around, because he had to make to work. Yeah, he said, "I'm sorry, I would love to stay there more, but I need to get back to work." And he said, like, you really inspire me. You and there's not
Oh.
many people who does that, but you really inspire me. So that was, oh my god, dude, you
Oh.
couldn't make my day any better. This was wow.
Instant tailwind, I bet. Like
Yes,
instant boost down the road.
I climbed the climb with I don't know how many more watts than usually.
Oh my god. That I mean, that's the best part about the Tour Divide, I think, is like it's got a cult-like following in North America.
It's great.
It's like on another level
It's great.
how active the dot watchers are, and they like don't know anything about bikes and they don't ever really want to know
Mm.
anything, but they love the Tour Divide.
A lot of them came out and just like, we found out that we live on a track and we saw the dots and we just wanted to see the dots. And you know, like you connect the dot with the real face, it's completely different. So I just try to remember a race in Europe that would have similar stuff. The only one I've done where there was so many dot watches is like Dale's Divide, and it's
Mhm.
a bit funny because that race is also happens where Mike Hall lived, and he's one of the founders, I think, of that race too.
Cool.
So that's also, but because that race also happens or follows the same route year after year, so that makes the people know about it, right? So a transcontinental, for example, just an example.
Yeah.
So transcontinental, and there the riders they make their own routes, right? Or their own routes, and you never know where they're gonna go, right? You kind of can think that you live there in the same city, but you don't
Mhm.
know how they're gonna leave the city. So it makes much more difficult for the dot watchers to come and watch you. it's much easier when the route is fixed and everybody knows where they can get you on the track.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, dot watchers are emotional support, right? We don't
I
need to
mean,
go there. Sorry, just had to.
I don't know any of that, none of them from before. So, or like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, what a magical thing to see, like to have so many positive interactions with people. And it seemed like, I mean, obviously, like you're winning, so people are like doubly excited. But I also think you have this reputation in community as like the nicest guy in bikepacking. This line kept going everywhere on Instagram, Facebook for the past 2 weeks. It was it was really awesome, and I couldn't think of a nicer person to have the record, at least for a year. At least for a
At
year. I
least
mean,
for
I don't
you.
know. So someone could go do an ITT tomorrow, and as long
Yeah,
as there's no media crew, well, Bob's the Retzel,
exactly,
right?
exactly. Even
Crazy.
though, yeah, okay, nah, not gonna comment on this.
What are you not going to comment on?
Nah, like, do you think like if Olympics happens this year in Paris, right?
Hmm.
And there's the road race and there's the track, and Olympics happen. There's a guy, he wins, he gets a gold medal. Year after, the guy comes and rides the same Olympic distance or the same track and beats the time. Should he get an Olympic medal?
No, I don't think so. This is, and I mean, we don't need to focus on it too much, but I do
No.
think the tour divide is tricky because there's no official organizer. Yes, Matthew Lee tweaks the route, puts up track leaders, but the rules and, the spirit of the race is policed by the general public, which creates all kinds of problems. Everybody has different opinions, and there's no person who is giving the de facto word about this is the way it should be, right?
Mm.
And I think it creates a lot of drama around the tour divide. But yeah, I mean, I've been saying this to people recently. Is my belief around like the records and the fastest people is setting a record on an ITT is great, but you can optimize for conditions, and like that should still stand in its own category.
Exactly.
But the fastest time on the Grand Depart in my eyes should be the course record, because everybody is on the same playing field,
Mm.
they're starting at the same time, they have the same conditions, and I think those two times can exist at the
Yeah.
same time.
I totally agree. That's why I respect fully the Lachlan's time. I mean, it's amazing what he achieved, and I really take off my hat for that. And but as you say, like I think there's place for both. Like you don't need to be like very no, this doesn't exist, and
It
but
doesn't need to be so black and white. It doesn't
no,
need to be so serious in some ways. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, bikepacking is meant to be a pretty simple sport of enjoying
exactly.
life by bike, right? So it's kind of hilarious all the rules that come into play around a race that has minimal rules.
and it's free race.
It's free.
The
It's
most the
free.
most expensive free race ever.
How much do you think you spent at a gas station
I'm
every
afraid
day?
I don't want to look at it. A lot.
Did,
It's a lot. I know that.
like $100 more?
Per day at least. Yeah.
And how many did you stay in any hotels? I know you stayed at
Yeah.
Brush Mountain Lodge. That's not technically a hotel. It's like a lodge.
No,
Well, you stayed in
yeah.
Fernie.
But they still they do a lot of services, so you pay
Yeah.
for that. And then yeah, Fernie was the first night where I stayed in a hotel. Then second night there was nothing. Then it's a bit, yeah, no, I haven't counted that in my head, but there was nights, yeah, I definitely where I could I pushed. So Yellowstone, the Flag Ranch, I stayed there inside. And then there was in Silverthorne, I stayed inside. Pytown, I stayed inside. That's also close to house. Uh, I wanted to stay inside in Silver City, but there were so many storms. So, yeah, this race in general was about racing the storms and weather more than any other rider. It's been like I didn't even look where Uber is because I just need to look where the weather is and what do I do next? Do I rest? Do I wait out? Do I push? Do I try to get in front or whatever? What do I do?
Yeah, well, even from the dot watching, like you can piece together the weather pattern and looking at the radar and everything. You seem to be in this, like, I wouldn't say the weather was good for you, but you were in
Mm.
this magical little bubble where it wasn't as shit behind you
No.
because Uba was at some points, a couple hours, and then he was in death mud, and you
Mm.
got through completely fine.
Yeah.
Obviously, the conditions were not great, but you were moving so fast that you happened to just be able to ride the eye of the storm, it seemed.
Yeah, I I can't say that's pure luck because I tried to do that. That's why I pushed some nights way further into the night than I maybe wanted,
Mm-hmm.
and tried to get as far possible as I could in certain also nights, and that included sleeping on the roadsides and shit, and just getting off the bike and getting in 15 minutes up, and just getting back on the bike and trying to ride again, and being tired and stopping and sleeping for 15 more minutes and just trying to ride. And oh my god, it was all sorts
Well,
of bullshit.
that explains one of my questions is looking at your track. Some nights we'd be watching it and you would stop, like you'd slow down and then you would stop for about 10-15 minutes. And then you'd get back on the bike and you'd go fast and then you'd slow down again about an hour later and then
Mm.
you'd stop for 10 to 15 minutes. And we're looking at it being like, surely he's taking a nap. So it sounds like those were the nights where you were potentially pushing longer than
Mm.
you wanted to, but it was
Mm.
really purely to get ahead of weather.
Exactly like Helena, I just rode through. I didn't even stop for resupply. I just wanted to get like over that mountain as fast as I could, just to because I knew it's gonna snow, and I wanted to avoid that at all costs. But still, snow caught me, but right at the top of it. So I still could descend and do and not freeze too much.
Yeah.
Well, I think Uber had way worse conditions over there. Then Butte and oh yeah, and I slept in Elkhorn Springs. That's also a place where I stepped inside. But
Nice.
that also was, oh my God. I stopped there. Like I came down the Fleecer Ridge where it snowed heavily. I
It
really,
looked really bad.
yeah, that wasn't nice at all. I mean, those conditions are to my advantage because the shittier the
You're fat
conditions,
biking in Norway. It's like
exactly.
minus 30 degrees there.
But it's just like different. Then I'm prepared to do that in the snow, and I expect that. There was a bit different because yeah, I kind of yeah, but still I have this advantage when it snows and the weather is shitty. So this is my everyday training weather. I don't live in Spain, and but but so yeah, so we got down the Fleecer Ridge, and I just wanted to get some warm, and in Elkhorn Springs I went into the cabin that I got to rent, and I got out at like I think 3 or 4 in the morning, and I just opened the doors and the stairs were white. It snowed so
No.
much during the night. I almost fell off those stairs while trying to get my bike off. And I was like, okay, if it snowed here, so Bannock Pass, or Old Bannock Road, I think it's called,
Yeah.
it's gonna be white. It's gonna be shit. And that's where last year me and Uber already struggled because of the mud.
Hmm.
So I thought if the snow's there, so it's gonna make some funny day today. But still had to set off. I rode the first, I don't know how many miles of those are on the road, and then you take off on the gravel roads, and the gravel roads were damp, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I just got over the pass actually in really good, because it was still, I think it was still around 0 degrees, so that because of that the road stayed firm, the snow didn't melt, so
Yeah.
that didn't affect the road quality. So but that changed when we got to Lima, and after Lima there's also quite a long climb, and you got up high, and there the snow has started to melt because it was about noon.
Gross.
And
Yeah.
that's where we got the mud and all the other shit.
But it didn't seem to really stop you in your tracks. And did you bring warm? You probably brought warm layers, right? You were
Mm.
obviously not romping around in your skin suit
No, no,
in
no,
the
no.
snow.
Skin suit has been kept as a secret weapon until, like, I don't know. I think I took it on the Brush Mountain Lodge for the first time. Yeah.
Really, you didn't put the skin suit on until Brush
Mm,
Mountain Lodge.
no.
Do you think it actually made you go faster?
Mentally.
When Jack told me that you wanted a skin suit, I lost my mind.
Why?
So it's fantastic. I just
Yeah.
think it's great that you're doing things the way that you want to. You know what I mean?
But you know, mind is a very strong weapon.
Yep. The mind is a
So
super strong
if
weapon.
you feel fast, I mean, nobody's gonna stop you if you really believe that this thing can make you really fast. So this is how it's gonna be.
Yeah, of course. Um, so when we started chatting, you said this year was all about fixing your mistakes from last year. So it's safe to say that that was your main motivation for returning to the divide, was really to fix the mistakes from last year.
Yeah, I've started kind of okay in Atlas, because that's where also I finished second, and I wanted to do one better there. So it was a good start. I finished first there. Then the next big mistake was Tour de White. So
And what were the things last year when you raced that you came back this year and you thought, I really want to improve on those things?
yeah, so not to fuck around too much. Like there was, so the first was like, yeah, the batteries in Yellowstone. When I got down to Flag Ranch, I mean, I wasted so much time because I had to cut my chain. I had to make a single speed, then the chain broke, and I had to like push the bike and just jump
Mm-hmm.
on it. And I got to Flag Ranch, then I had to hitchhike to Jackson to buy a couple of new batteries, then to hitchhike back to Flag Ranch, put the batteries in, then chase Suba and Jens, and I still managed to catch them. And then the
Mm-hmm.
storm was that caught us in Great Basin. So I knew at least the 7 hours for the hitchhiking to and from the Jackson and all this Flag Ranch stuff. Then there were 13 hours in Great Basin, so just that made 20 hours that
Mm-hmm.
I saw in my head that I could cut off of my total time. And on top of all this, you know the course now. I mean, it's now I can tell it's a huge advantage to be a Tour de White veteran, like, because you know
Mm-hmm.
what's coming. You know the resupplies. You know what to expect where, and which sections are remote, and where you can find shelter, where you can find water, how long can you push, and if you miss this one, what's the next, and that helps you a lot. And not just by knowing it, but also keeping yourself calm, because you're not stressed.
Mm-hmm. It's so interesting because I think like most people don't get it on their first go on the Tour Divide. Like Mike set the record his second run. Lael's ITT was her third time, I
Yeah.
think, on it. And yeah, I mean, you had an incredibly impressive rookie run, but to not be stopped hitchhiking to Jackson and then sitting in a porta potty
Yeah. And then
is really helpful.
losing the pedal, right? Like riding in New Mexico with both pedals and working gears is way another story, I can tell you. It's much faster. I mean, from last year, New Mexico was my nightmare, and this year I was like enjoying it for the once. So just small stuff, right? Okay,
Yeah,
pedal and gears are not just the small stuff, but
they're not small things. You need those to ride a bike.
but but they make a lot of difference.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I didn't actually know about your pedal falling off
Yeah,
last
it
year.
fell off before Python.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
And
so
like
uh,
Pytown on a map looks close, but it's not actually that close. I mean, it's close in the grand scheme of how far you
yeah.
just rode, but it's still quite a way.
And there's a lot of climbing after it. And with
Yeah.
one pedal and no gears, it's quite difficult to climb because my gear stopped working before Cuba, and my pedal fell off after or just before Python. And I broke my spoke just when I entered New Mexico, so my back wheel was a bit like shrinky.
Oh my god. Oh
Yeah,
my.
so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you had a lot of stuff go wrong and you still salvaged an amazing race last year. Did you do anything differently to like help prevent those mechanical things this year, or do you think the mechanicals was no the lack of mechanicals this year was luck?
At least I put the new pedals on before I left. So I try to at least minimize all the stupid shit that I've done last year. So yeah, there were like, I mean, the whole bike was in the whole different
Mhm.
stuff. And last year I was very short on time and very stupid. So I've done the last race and I didn't had much time to to go through the bike, like to rebuild it, to change bearings
Mhm.
and stuff. So a lot of things got underlooked probably.
Mhm.
And so for this year, I made sure that yeah, at least my dampers got serviced before I left. I changed most of the bearings, moving parts, new chain, all stuff, and everything got oiled and new bottom bracket, and yeah, it costs, but it's part of,
But
I
it
think.
helps.
Yeah, exactly. It helps a lot in again having peace of mind that you know that things that are on a bike, they are there and they should last at least the length of the race. So you shouldn't get wrong.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I think Nelson says about his races. Like, your bike should be basically brand, not the frame, but like everything
Mm-hmm.
on your bicycle should be effectively brand new because of the wear you're going to
Mm-hmm.
experience over the next 2 weeks, especially because you're not just like riding on tarmac, you're riding on,
Mm-hmm.
mud,
Off road.
snow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and how many AXS batteries did you bring?
Too many. I can tell you that.
Tell
I,
me how
I, I
many you
could I
brought.
could have actually ridden almost the whole Tour de France without charging, and that's how many I brought.
No.
Really, I had many.
10?
No, not that much. Okay, it was five. I had five with me.
That's that's too many, but I also understand why you brought so many. And for folks listening who don't know why Justinas needed to bring so many, is you brought one to Atlas Mountain Race.
Yes, I had three technically, but those other two were in my backpack that was sent to the finish.
So the reason you were actually sleeping on Atlas Mountain Race was because every so often you would have to stop to charge your AXS battery because you can't pedal and charge your AXS battery at the same time.
No, and and that taught me another thing, that sleeping makes you faster.
But okay, how many hours of sleep over the last 13 days do you think you actually got?
I would say about 3 hours a night.
Okay, that's actually more than I thought.
I think so. Yeah, about 3 hours. With all the power naps, because there were times when I left too early, just like like trying to play this psychological game with Uber as well, like not be there when he comes. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know why this got into my head, but yeah, there were a couple of times where I tried to leave earlier than maybe I wanted, and I should have left. just because we wouldn't meet, kind of, and that in some cases that resulted in that I was forced to take some power naps later on because that was a bit too early. I left too early.
You should have seen the Dot Watcher chat. Every time you had one of those nights where you left too early, they're screenshotting going, "What's happening? He's on the side of the road again."
Exactly. This is
But
because
it's
uh, sorry.
sorry, go ahead.
No. That's exactly like I would leave. I would feel fine. I would ride for an hour or two, and then it would hit me.
But you seem to be able to cope with that really well. Like, I think a lot of other people, when those things happen to them, you mess up how much you rest, they might be like, okay, I need to stop for like half a day. Whereas you're just like, I'm going to lie down on the side of the road,
10 minutes.
and seems to work okay for you. And I think part of that is, life as a nurse, working 70-hour weeks overnight and da da da.
Definitely, I think that. Yeah, I always like when I was a manager. Now I can tell that I know when I was a manager, a long time ago. I always
15 days ago. Well, I guess it's more than 15 now
yeah.
that, whatever.
But I was always supporting my night shift workers to take power naps because I knew the power of them. I just like, yeah, get 10-15 minutes, lay down, get those minutes, and you'll feel the difference later. So I'm a strong believer in power naps that they can actually have before Atlas and forgetting the batteries and forcing myself to sleep a bit longer than 15 minutes. I've done races where, yeah, I would live on power naps. So like just, 5 days on 6 or 7 power naps.
Crazy.
That was stupid. I mean, I would never do it again. But at that time, I copied the tactics of the greats, this is what kind of leads you into a false understanding that this is the way to win it. Like, I don't know. Until you make a mistake and you find your own way and you find something that works even better for you and you start doing your thing, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. So that kind of leads me to my question. You mentioned some like mind games between you and Uba, and I'm curious, like, I was floored to see that you stopped in Fernie on the first night. The
Mhm.
three, like you, Lawrence, and
Mhm.
Uba, were all like around the same speed, and you all stopped what looked like at the same place.
Yeah.
And you were the first one out in the morning. But was that your plan all along, to stop on night one in Fernie, or you just decided on a whim?
A bit on the go because I no, my plan wasn't to stop at Fernie the first night. I wanted to push a bit further, but even though I knew that there's nothing after Fernie, um, and when we were approaching Fernie, there was a sign that there was soup for Tour de Riders. That's why we all went to the same fucking place. Yeah.
Oh, what's it? Snow Mountain, or like
Yeah,
snow
something
something
like
like
that.
something with the
Something like
snow in
that.
it, where
Yeah.
they give, if you stay there, free, all tour dividers get free
All
food at
Tour de
that
Riders.
place.
Yeah, you don't need to stay there. You could get soup without staying there. It's a bit of route, but and yeah, we kind of opened hard, right? I mean, we got a separation, and um, and I think like you're not gonna win anything by playing a hero and pushing through the first night, and because you don't like. I heard it somewhere, and I really liked the quote that you don't need to look for the pain. The pain will come. So you don't need to get yourself in sleep deprivation before you have to, because you will get there anyway later
Yeah.
on. So if you have the possibility to get some hours in the bed, and to be fair and square, I really felt shit. Like that day, I really squeezed myself hard, and I needed those hours because I knew how slow I'm gonna crawl. I could have
Mm-hmm.
crawled further, but that would be crawling, not riding. And just by getting those hours, you wash yourself, right? You get your first shower quite early. So you wash all those salts that just came out of you. So you kind of prevent that many of other disasters that are about to come. So,
Yeah.
so that was actually, I really, really love that. Even though it was early and I couldn't get so much sleep there, but that was way better than not doing that.
Yeah, well, from the outside looking in, we were all thinking, is he going to try the exact same strategy as Lachlan and be stopping and sleeping 6 hours a night? And, or I guess he was like 12 hours rest or something like that every 48. I don't remember the nuance of his
Mm,
strategy, but
mm,
he was sleeping a lot. But
mm,
as you've described, that evidently was not the plan. It was really
mm.
just, I mean, that
Rather,
first day is hard.
it
That first day
is.
is really hard. Like the High Rockies trail is really punchy. It's
Mm.
beautiful, but it's just like a lot of demand, and then you got to go over Coco, which is its own special thing.
Oh my God, yeah, that's where I lost Uba and Lorenz. I couldn't keep up, so they just gone. They were gone. But because of my mountain bike, that I brought, and there's full suspension stuff and flat handlebars and a bit better mountain biking skills than probably there, I managed to catch them up on the downhill.
Wow. And then you all rolled into Fernie together, and
Yeah, just right,
you
like. Mm,
you were the first to leave Fernie,
that
and
that that is, yeah. I mean, I think, yeah, we left very close with Uba. We left together almost.
well, I think, well, I mean, you know better than us, but by
Yeah.
the tracker, it looked like you left ahead of him, and you ran into each other a couple times on the race, but
Mhm.
you always seemed to be like he would get there when you were leaving type thing.
Okay. Nah,
Uh,
so Fernie, so we were. I mean, yeah. During that night, I saw his light for in the beginning, but later it gone. It was gone.
and was like last year, it seemed like you saw a lot of each other. You know, you were
Mm.
riding a similar pace, and you
It
were
was a bit.
potentially, but this year you were out in front the
Mm.
entire time. Was that intentional? Like, did you try to get an advantage early on, or was that just how things played out and then you ended up racing the weather?
Mostly the second, yeah. I
Yeah.
I just, yeah, I rode my own race. I tried to do that as much as I could and just rest, not to be affected by, the choices by the others. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because it's at some point it's very easy. Like you kind of, when there's a thing that you lose this possibility to take decisions, or like your decision making becomes a bit weaker.
Mm-hmm.
So if you kind of are on your own, so you have to make those decisions either way. But if you are with someone or close to someone and you see that they did that, so you way easier is to copy than to
Mm-hmm.
think, oh, what would you do if you would be on your own.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I wanted to make my own race, and I wanted to. Yeah, when I got in front, so the only thing that I could chase and race was my own shadow and the weather. So that's what I did.
So cool. And racing your own race, is that something you plan? Like, do you have strategy, or do you just wing it and say, I'm feeling good right now, so I'll push right now, and I'm feeling a bit shit, so maybe I lie down on the side of the road?
Yeah, you probably know how plans and strategies work with me. They don't. None of
what
them.
a, what about food strategy though? Do you have a
I,
no goal of nutrition
I
during a
see
day?
food, I eat food. That's it. Yeah, but really, I mean, I don't like to complicate things. I just like foods, and I go into the petrol station. I sometimes with no fucking idea what I'm gonna have, and then I see pickles. Oh, I would love pickles. Let's get pickles. And then I would walk around like, oh, there is this sandwich like bar where they make sandwiches, local sandwiches, and I would buy a lot of those. Oh, there is like chicken kebabs or something like that. I will get one. Oh, there's like this kefir stuff or milk or chocolate milk or whatever, and I would get that. Yes, most of the times I would leave the petrol station with way more stuff that I needed, but I would
But
be
that's
happy.
good.
But I would be happy.
It's good to have too much food because the other option is you don't have enough and then you are super screwed.
Nah, that didn't happen once. Even I think even now, if I would go through my bags, I would find some Snickers, some melted Snickers or something.
Well, I think that's a great lesson for like anybody listening. And I like to operate that way is, don't just get what you need in that exact moment. Like, get more, get
Mm,
as much as you can probably carry. And sure, it might be a little bit heavier, but if you have all the choices when you're on the trail, then it makes it a lot easier to get the food down, right?
absolutely. And then comes a night, right? And you sit on the roadside and you contemplate your life choices, and you have this burger from a day ago. And then you take it out, and then you find a pickle package, and then you eat all this, and then life's so much better. Like you're ready to push again.
It's so gross, but it's so good.
It is. I love it. Like this is also partly why I can be good at this. Like I don't care much about the image of
Yeah,
the food. Like for me, food is fuel, and you need to eat it.
I love that. What was the best thing you ate on the divide?
That was pizza from the place. Oh
Brush Mountain
no,
Lodge?
no, Rushmont.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh
but
no,
there
the
are two
place,
things.
the bar that JP shared about, right? The like
Yes,
it's
yes.
called the place.
The place, and there is the man who serves the pizza. It's fucking amazing. So no, but that place is really. If I hope he's gonna continue with what he does, and I would really love to come back there and just stay there for a while longer. It's a bit north from Pinedale, or like yeah, it's right after you descend from. I always forget that pass. Union Pass. It's called, yeah.
Yeah.
And but in Brush Mountain Lodge, I got my pancakes. So this is also very
Oh,
close. I love pancakes, and Kristen, she makes me the best pancakes. And then I got some pancakes into a zip bag, and I had them for like a day.
oh my
So
goodness.
no, the stop in Brush Mountain Lodge, those ladies, they are angels. Like they are trail angels. Definitely, you can rebuild yourself there and get yourself from ashes up against and flying.
It's so good that because she was saying before the start that she might not be able to be open.
That was my disaster. I
Well,
really,
it didn't end up being a disaster because it was open, but
yeah.
I mean, imagine she wasn't there.
It's, I mean, this is what I tell you. This would have been a disaster for me because I was looking to. This is why I pushed through the night to get there and get the sleep there. This is why I rode into the headwind for, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours when Uba was sleeping and waiting out the headwind, and he got into Brush Mountain Lodge, I think 3 or 4 hours faster than I did, just because he didn't need to ride into the headwind. So, but I just really wanted to get there. For me, it was
Yeah.
like I didn't have many, but certain points on the route I had where I just wanted to get there, wanted to be there, wanted to spend the night there because I had amazing experience from the last year.
What were the other spots on the course that you wanted to get to?
Flag Ranch was one of them.
Yeah.
And and the Pie Town was also the third one. So I had these three spots.
Cool. Very cool. Um,
But
did you
Python
know
was, but Python was a bit of a letdown.
Oh, why? Because you had hyped it up in your head and you thought it would be better, and
Yeah,
then
last year, there was a host, or there was a lady living in the house, and she was kind of running the house, but she moved out, and already back then she said that she's probably not going to stay longer than until the end of
oh,
the summer. So no, the Python, the toaster house is door open house, and there's nothing, and there's just like, yeah, you just, there is a box where you leave some money. You can still have a shower. There's water. There's electricity.
hmm.
There's beds, and there are lots of grains here, rice and stuff, so you can kind of cook yourself a meal. But there's nothing like it was last year, where I could, like, she was there. She made me a really nice breakfast, and I got the sandwich that I loved later on in the on the route.
Hmm.
And this year it was just like, yeah, empty house. So you feel very alone there, and yeah, no pie.
Oh, that's
So
pretty sad.
yeah,
That's
so I really thought about, like, shit. And I kind of would want to go there and stay from like mid June until, I don't know, mid July, and just host all the riders passing by, and give
that's the
give
plan
give
next summer.
give something back to community. Probably not next summer, but one day I
Yeah.
want to do this.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the best, like one of the best things about doing these is you realize the parts of community that are so important to you, and then you can do your part to emulate them back. Like I'm sure you do a lot for the riders for your race Bright Midnight,
Mm,
and or try to, because you've had these really amazing experiences and you want other people to feel that too.
exactly, and yeah, I think this is how hitchhiking works, right? Like, once you didn't have a car and you needed to get from A to B, and you didn't have money, and now when you are in position and can take others, you do that too. You've been taken, so now you take care of others. And yeah, yeah, Bright Midnight, what you mentioned. So it's this is what I want to give as well. It's like my payback to community, how I would like to be welcomed into the race, and how I would want it to be. And so this is what I try to do. But
Oh,
but yeah, it's my vision, and
yeah.
I'm not always sure that the vision is correct. Or, like, yeah, we all have different visions and different understandings and meanings, and
Well, that's the best, like that's the greatest part about there being different events is you can go to the ones where you see like you like the vision, and I think that's like why there's such a draw to yours. And we'll get to Bright Midnight. I want to keep I want to keep talking about the race.
okay.
One, did you know that Brush Mountain Lodge was going to be open when you got there? Because I hadn't seen the post that it was going to be open,
I got
so I was shocked
I got a
when I
message.
found out that you were there.
I got a message early in the morning, yeah, before the start.
Nice.
So that that lifted my morals also up in the sky.
Yeah. Well, knowing there's like good stuff to come instead of like
Yeah,
you might have done the same thing as Uba and stayed
in
and
warm
gone
Saturday.
slower.
Mm. Yeah, definitely. Then if my plan B was that, yeah, then probably it's gonna be just get through the basin, stay in warm Sutter, even though that's a hole, but you can you can get a bed, get some sleep, and push all the way to Steamboat Springs afterwards, and just see where it's gonna get you.
Hmm.
But when I got to know that it's gonna be open, so then the motivation to push through was way higher.
Yeah, no doubt. And like you are a very positive person, as like one you can tell from your demeanor, but also how you talk about racing. Like obviously there's hard moments out there. It's not always going to be easy breezy tailwinds, and like when you get into those harder moments, like what are the things that help pull you through? Like do you have mantras, thought processes, songs? Like what is the thing that gets you through?
my own stupid jokes.
No way.
Oh my god, it's so stupid, but yes.
No way. Like what? Give
Like
me an
I can
example.
make myself laugh after stupid shit. Like I can, like sometimes you know your voice in your head. Have you ever been so tired, or like you have you ever let it go and talk shit like it would
Yes.
like live its own life? And then and at some point you hear the thoughts, your own thoughts, that is your fucking voice in your head, and this is actually you, but you kind of see it from outside. And then I was like, what the fuck are you thinking? Like, what? Where have you fucking gone now? Which path have you taken? Come back now. Like, it's going wrong way.
That's not what I expected at all. I thought you were going to give me some answer about staying positive, and instead it's your
Stay
own
positive.
jokes.
So that's how you stay positive. You laugh. You laugh. You laugh about the situation. I mean, you are in. Like, what did where did I get myself into now? Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And
What was the hardest moment, or were there like any particularly hard moments this year that stood out to you?
don't know. Yeah, I mean the weirdest one probably was after I left Gachita. I had some hallucinations, like crazy ones, and
Oh.
so there was this couple dot watchers. They drove from Tucson at the middle of the night to meet me in Gachita, right? And then they would go to finish line and wait for me there. And now this year they changed. Like before, we would stay on the highway and on the like main
Yeah,
road,
yeah.
and we just ride for 50 miles and just think about what we have done. But now, no. Now you get into like a sandy road first, where it's like kettles on or stock on that. Then the double track starts, like stony, rocky double track, and then you get into CDT single trail, like hiking trail. And then you join the main road, and then you have like 30 miles to the Antelope Wells. Yeah, that's about right. So I met those people right in Cheetah, and they took to the left. They went to the finish. I took to the right and started the sandy bit. My initial plan was to get a few hours sleep in Silver City so that I could finish off the race on a high mood, high level of energy. I would like really have fun. But because of the storms, I had to push through. Like I have some videos that there was like lightning show all over around me. Like it was crazy. So I couldn't stop in Silver City because I was afraid to be caught in those, and I still had lots of dirt roads to cover. So if they would get wet, I thought like that's gonna get muddy, and oh yeah. So I pushed through, and I got into that sandy road after Hachita, and it was way more technical than I expected. And if you're already like a bit tired, because I haven't slept since Pytown, so it's been a long push already.
Oh my god.
And I was not doing good because it was slow, and I was kind of falling asleep on the bike. And if it's sand, so you you risk you. I crashed almost crashed a couple of times, and I thought like, no way, I'm gonna stop. This is sand. I'm just gonna lay down on the sand and get like 15 minutes of sleep, and gonna get back on the bike and ride further. So I did. I stopped, I lay down, I slept, 15 minutes went, Pam turned off the alarm. But there is another thing which happens with those power naps. I have experienced it before, so it's nothing new for me. Your body wakes up, but your mind doesn't.
Oh.
So what? Imagine what? Like I've dreamed that there is a bus coming and picking us up, and I had that woman that has been in the car ride and the van. So we are three. I'm sitting on the side of the road. They're standing there. We're all talking. We're waiting for the bus that's gonna take us to Hachita bike ranch to Jeffrey, and yeah. So there I sat for 40 minutes, waiting.
Oh my God.
Yeah, waiting for the bus to
No.
come until that woman. And I was determined. I'm not gonna go to Antelope Wells. Why would I? Like I need to get back to Hachita. Like that's it. Bike ranch. I need I need to get some sleep. And then that woman talked me into like, are you sure? Like, I mean, there is someone waiting for you at the finish. Like, you have to get to the finish line. And yeah, she convinced me at
Oh.
the end. And I got back on my bike, and this is what is strange, that suddenly you kind of come back to your mind. The body and mind starts to connect, and then, but I haven't finished the race. Like I need to get to the finish. Yeah.
How did you like imagine you didn't realize you were hallucinating and
Hmm?
you just sat on the side of the fucking road and never made it. I mean, I don't think that scenario would happen because if
Yeah.
you did sit there that long, Uba would have eventually reached you and said, "Man, let's go."
Yeah, yeah, probably.
Did you and you obviously realized you were hallucinating and you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Okay,
Later on, I
I got to
did.
get
Yeah.
going."
Mm. But then, who is that lady? She's a trail angel for me. Like,
Yeah, the lady of your well, she's a real lady, but you
yeah.
envisioned her there and she got you to the finish. Um, did you have any like physical issues while like during or after the ride? Like did you experience any pain anywhere, any numbness, or your body was
But it's simple. But I still can do this. Not so
no
good with the
way.
left arm is not good, but right I can still do it. I can sit. I can jump. I can do what the fuck I
Oh my
want.
God. You're like I don't want to say superhuman because
No, I'm not.
like you obviously like you ride your bike a ton, you've raced a ton this year. Like did your preparation for this year's divide was it different than last year in terms of how you trained and got ready for it?
You know, Peter, there's one thing. I'm not coachable. She has taken and I don't know how to call this task, like, but
An
she's a bit.
impossible task.
It's impossible task. This is like a Sisyph's work, right? Where you do and do and do and do and nothing changes. Like so, yeah. So she tries to do something with me, which is impossible. But I'll let her try. But there's one thing that is nice, or like what she tries to make me do more of is like structure, which I hate.
Yeah.
So we fight a lot about that. Like, because I love the adventure. I don't want to know where I'm gonna stop. Don't want to know how long I'm gonna ride until the first stop. I don't want to know anything. I just want to come to the start and there's the route and that's what you have to follow, and good luck finding out the rest on your own. This is what I want.
And it
But
sounds
this,
like you kind of did that a little bit. Like there were some places that you were determined and planned to get to,
yeah.
but for the most part you did what you wanted.
Yeah, so we kind of try to find a middle ground, like where both she and I would be happy. No, but she has a point. I know that. I know that because of some sort of planning. I mean, the adventurous riding that I used to do before, it gets me on the podium because of my probably physical abilities,
Hmm.
but because of all the stupid mistakes, I would lose most certain the first place or the second. So yeah, so that is the biggest change in my racing approach. That I There are races where I have a free choice, whatever I can do, whatever I want. But 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 there are certain races where we agree that I'm gonna try to be good boy.
Well, I think that that paid off in this instance because
Yes, I
you,
have to thank my coach very much.
yeah, it must have been so hard for her because she's racing, like she's out there riding.
Yeah,
Like you
she's
can't be riding and looking at the freaking dot
she
all day. I
did.
mean,
She did
I
anyway. She's a superhuman, you know. She is really. So she's able to do many things.
yeah. In your training, like how many hours on a week on the bike are you doing approximately?
100,000, 55.
Is that the total
Bullshit.
for the year?
Bullshit.
Are you just pulling my
Bullshit.
leg?
No, this is bullshit. It depends, like a lot. Like I don't know how it's gonna change now when I'm gonna be a full-time gypsy where I don't need to work, but or not that I don't need to work, but like there's no certain hours that I have to do. So yeah, it was everything from 15 to 25 to 35.
Hmm.
There has been like volume weeks where would ride so many hours that yeah, like there would be space for nothing else. Just like I would go to work, come back from work, get on a bike, off the bike, eat, to bed, new day, same shit, bam. Then would come a weekend and I would go for a 12-hour ride on Saturday and 15-hour ride on Sunday. And then would be a new week.
Wow.
So there is some crazy weeks. But then they are
Yeah.
followed by some recovery weeks where you just spin your legs 5 times a week and that makes like 7-8 hours and that's it. Then there are all sorts of weeks. So but this all I really learned like from all of after all those years. So I learned to listen to my body kind of, and I just
Hmm.
follow my own regime. Or like this is why I say that I'm difficult to be coached, like because I know kind of I can take suggestions, but I will take them as suggestions, not as
They're not that's
yeah,
not the plan.
no.
It's just
You know,
that's a nice
the plan
contribution.
for me is no go. I don't like plans. This is what I hate. I mean, if you're able to sell me something without telling that this is the plan, I might buy it. But if as soon as the plan is mentioned, no,
It's so funny because you and Ulrich have extremely different approaches.
very different.
And he's said as much that they're like you don't have to be the way that he is and you definitely don't have to be the way that you are. I think what's interesting is just that there's no secret sauce, there's no right way
No.
to do it. It's just whatever works best for you.
And this is what I tried to tell you already 1 hour or more. that this people have to stop copying. Like
Yeah.
seriously, like get your fucking own stuff going. Yes, you can look, you can see and get ideas, but those ideas, if I would copy Lachlan's approach, it wouldn't have worked for me. No, never,
Yeah.
definitely.
No.
It's impossible. Like this is how it is. Like that's why you have to find your own. You have to fuck around for a certain amount of time to find out that these things are like this. So I've done it. I've been here now for this is my 4th year in Ultra, and I've done plenty of them, and I think also I read somewhere, but yeah, the good decisions comes from experience, and experience comes from bad decisions. So I've done plenty of them.
But you learned, and I think like it's safe to say like you enjoy the process of learning, like you're not beating yourself up about the mistakes. You're just saying, okay, let's do one better. We learned and let's
Mm.
go.
I mean, this is what motivates me. Like my mistakes. This is why I'm here again, right? I wanted to improve on my mistakes. I want to see. Like I don't want mistakes to stop me.
Hmm. Hmm.
I think that we all can be better, and we become better if we reflect on what we did and how we did it and how we could have done it better. So this run this record is, as I told you, I already know, like, I've slept now a few days and I already know where I could cut off quite a few hours.
Well, that was
But
going to be my next question is if you were going to do it again, what would you do differently?
do you want me to answer it?
Of course I want the answer, but the question is, do you want to give away the answer?
I don't know, I'm not sure. I mean, it's not easy to see. Not like if I would cut all the dot watchers, like all the interactions with dot watchers, I would save at least 2-3 hours just on that.
Hmm.
Probably more because
Would you want to do that though?
no, definitely not. Like this is the best part of all that. Like this is what I love the most. I mean, nah, really. But there were some stupid decisions like going into some supermarkets where I wasted lots of time just yeah, but it was stupid.
Well,
But
you're
I
like, I don't know what I want to eat. I'm just going to walk around and
and
like,
that is so imagine me like I'm the so if I can fucking stand ahead in front of the stand in petrol station and look at it and not be sure what I want, so send me into a supermarket. I've been to Walmart last day. I spent 3 fucking hours walking around. It was crazy. It was so much shit, and I want to just look at it. Like it was, I couldn't believe you can fucking buy guns and shit and pools and TVs and food in the same place. Oh my god.
yeah, I think like I didn't want to say it when you told me you have no plan going into the petrol station, but personally, I can't have no plan going in because I will just you walk around, you're looking at every shelf. Oh, that looks good, looks good. Next thing you know, you've been in there for 45 minutes when if the few kilometers before, you think, okay, I need something salty. I need this. I need that. You make a little bit of a plan. You don't say this is the list of food
Mm,
because you don't want to get disappointed, but you think about it. You're going to spend probably half the time.
I know. So that's what I'm telling you. I could have saved at least a couple of hours by implementing a simple rule that you just said. But
Yeah.
theory and practice are two different things in my world, sadly.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know
You
how
know
it
what?
I know how to save time in theory, but in practice it doesn't work.
Yeah, well, best laid plans and all that. Like that's the thing about these 2 week long adventures is nothing goes to plan.
No.
Some a few things maybe, like you hope for no mechanicals. If you get no mechanicals, boom, plan done. But
You hope.
yeah, exactly. You cross your fingers and you
Mm.
hope. I can't believe you had no mechanicals. Like not even a
Me
puncture?
me
Nothing?
neither. Nothing. No. The
Holy
only
smokes.
the only mechanical I had to change my brake pads once.
Oh, that's pretty normal.
Yeah, and the only thing that I should have done a little bit before, because the front ones were gone by some time. Yeah, but the rest, nah, everything's fine.
Crazy. You made a comment about your bike choice. You said pain is not mandatory. And
Because
I'm curious, do you think the full suspension bike like helped you do these really big back-to-back huge days compared to the hardtail last year, or like how do you think it impacted your performance?
I don't know, probably positively, right? I won,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
as far as I know, I'm probably also the first one to win it on a full suspension bike. So
Yeah.
we'll see how this is gonna affect the trends next year. I
Hmm.
wasn't alone. Lorenz also on full suspension, right? And he finished
Right.
third. So
Right.
my thinking before was that the more moving parts on the bike, the more things that can go wrong. And in Tour de Ride, you want the least amount of things that can go wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
But I've got that bike for Atlas, so I've ridden Atlas. I saw how it went there. Dricus, who was on my ass all time, he also rode exactly the same. He was riding exactly the same bike. He just unfortunately couldn't finish. So otherwise it would be 1-2 on full suspension bikes. Then what else? Yeah, so I did the other race in Switzerland, Le Mans Gravel.
Yeah.
That's where I raced against pure breed gravel racers, and they were on their lightweight gravel bikes, and I was on a full suspension bike, and I still
You
managed.
won.
Still managed to win by 14 or 12 minutes against the guy behind me.
Crazy.
But that was the last drop that convinced me. Yeah, this is the bike. I feel. I think I don't want to say that this exactly was the recipe that has done the work, but I felt good on that bike. I think that is the most important. If you have a bike that you feel good on and you feel comfortable on, this is the most important thing. And it is very for me, the longer the race, there's this slider, right? I mean, the short races, you want everything to be lightweight, you want to be fast and blah, 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 efficient, blah, blah. The longer the race, the more you slide it towards the comfort. Because you want to feel good on the bike, you want comfortable shoes, you don't want carbon soles, you don't think so much about efficiency, because where does the efficiency go if you fucking have blisters and you can't push, or if you have saddle sores on your ass and you can't sit in a seat and you can't push the pedals? So what is the point? So the point is that you need to be comfortable, and for me, being comfortable is on a full suspension bike.
I love that answer. I specifically, I like the scale. That there's, shorter events. You can sacrifice comfort, but if you're living off the bike and pedaling for, the fastest person was 13 days and everybody comes after you, which means comfort's only going to get more and more important for those people because of how long they're on the bike.
Exactly. Look at the middle pack. Nobody, most of them, they will carry a tent and a sleeping mat and everything, because they will be on the road for 20 fucking days. They're not gonna try to escape with a lightweight bivy, because they know that they need a good night's sleep, a good comfort, so that they could ride the race and finish it. So that's where it matters the most. That's why it's like this.
It's so interesting, I think, because for at least from my introduction to bikepacking, there's so many people who are of the camp, lighter is better and carbon all the way and da da da. And I'm not saying that that's the wrong choice, but just that you have to make choices that will result in comfort and sometimes more weight or more moving parts or whatever that results in the comfort to get you to your goal.
Yeah, totally agree with that. and
Love it.
Yeah.
So how did you take care of yourself on a ride of this? You're laughing, so I think maybe I know the answer, but seriously though, self-care is hugely important. You're on the bike for 13 days. You mentioned, getting a shower in, but what are the things that keep you feeling good and are really important to you to take care of yourself during a ride of this magnitude?
Sleep, eat good, eat the food you want.
Yeah.
And not stress about things. Less, don't overcomplicate things. Don't chase numbers, don't do anything that would stress you. So, yeah, partly the reason was why there was so little updates and stuff, because I didn't want to. I wanted to enjoy the fucking moment. I was on the bike, I was having fun, and I was in the moment, and I wanted to be in that moment. And yeah, this is how and so taking physical care of yourself. So yeah, I still forgot to put sunscreen
Sun
and
cream, yeah.
so I still have burned myself many places. But but the most important thing for me was to keep myself fueled, to keep myself hydrated, and shower once in a while. And if I couldn't shower, so I used the wet wipes, because I learned it too. And yeah, so that's why the Brush Mountain Lodge was also very important, halfway milestone for me. So that's where I could wash my clothes, and again, you don't stink so much, so you kind of feel better. You enjoy it much more. Uh, yeah, small things like these are just like I had the lip balm as well.
Hmm.
Did I use it? No. I had toothbrush. Did I use it? No. My sister will
You
kill me.
didn't brush your teeth once?
No.
Justina, that's so
I
gross.
know. I know. I would be a perfect homeless man. I'm a gypsy.
Oh my
But I
goodness.
ate, but
Oh.
my odontologist told me to eat some gum. So that's what I did. I chewed some gum. That was my toothbrushing. I don't
I
know.
can't even.
Maybe you should cut this, but no.
I will not cut that out. The people need the real answer that you
Uh,
did. I mean, you know what? I think the important thing of like all the things you just said, like the disgustingness of not brushing your teeth aside, because everybody does something super gross on these races. There's no getting around it. You know what I mean? Whatever it
yeah,
like
yeah.
is, showering, washing your clothes, making sure that you're fueling well, like you're eating as much as you want and what you want and often, and having those like little moments of reset. Like you were looking forward to Brush Mountain Lodge because you're like, okay, this is my halfway mark. I'm going to
Mm,
do these things to take care of myself so that I'm set up for success on the second half.
it is, and for me, another thing which is very important is sit down meals.
Yeah.
I hate to stress.
Wait, you hate stressing? That wasn't abundantly clear at
Oh.
all.
So I would love to come to the petrol station and sit down and not and eat and concentrate on eating and not like eating, stuffing myself and at the same time filling my bladder with all these drinks and looking for what else I could do, pack, repack, and take some layers off and put new ones on. And no, I would sit down and I would eat. And when I done eating, then I could start doing other things. But I find it very peaceful. Like I eat and I enjoy food. I think about the food and that gives me joy and energy.
That's it. That's important. I think like I can relate to that. Like everyone's like, "Oh, learn to eat on the bike." And yeah, of course you're riding for 2 weeks, you're going
Yeah.
to eat on the bike, but you need a minute to like process and sit and enjoy, and that turns into speed for you down the line because you feel so good.
Exactly. I know that I can fuck myself and turn myself inside out on the bike later on.
Yeah.
But at the moment I want the peace. I know what's waiting for me after I will leave the petrol station, but now I'm in the petrol station. Now I'm in a safe zone. Now I just taking care of myself and yeah, think about the good things and stuff, and later on when I leave it, I know what's gonna happen. But now it is how it is.
I love it. I feel like we've done a good job of covering the race. I mean, there's obviously like you're going to process and more stories are going to come out, and you've got all these photos and videos that you have yet to share. So, there's plenty more to tell. But what was your favorite moment, or what are a few moments that stand out to you that you'll remember for a really long time from this race?
Mm. Probably the dot watches from the people.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that comes to my mind. I mean, and yeah, and how good I felt. Like really, yeah, really. That was a. Even though I got sick, yeah, the second night when I had to sleep, when I was trying to chase the storms and shit, I slept outside. I got cold. I was coughing shit out, and there was lots of yellow stuff
Gross.
coming. That was pretty gross.
But
So
not to the same level as like you got really sick at Silk Road.
yeah, but then we were in altitude most of the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
This helped that we were up at some point, but then we would go down, and in Silk Road you would stay up, and this
Yeah,
would
you never go down.
just would get worse. Here it helped a lot because we got down, and I would sleep inside. In Silk Road, I wouldn't sleep inside, even though I was fucked.
Yeah, you got. I heard this story of you got to the yurt camp. What was it? Whichever CP.
CP2.
Then Sofiane slept in the warm yurt,
Yes.
and you decided I will go up the
Yes.
Soviet Road and I will sleep in negative degrees.
And I did it. And I
Did it work?
fucking did it. And I fucking got sick and I almost died, but I fucking finished.
Not funny getting sick, but you know, you live and you learn, and
No,
that's the thing.
stupidity shouldn't be rewarded, and that was stupid, and I shouldn't have done it. But yeah, so I felt really good, even though I said like I got sick, but I still managed to find the pace and the right pace and the right amount of sleep and taking care of myself and all this, and I was really impressed how good I handled that.
It's
So
it's easy to think you're not taking care of yourself by watching your dot because of, you know, of how little you're resting in comparison to how you're riding, but you only get such a small part of the picture, right? And hearing you talk about it, you definitely like you were definitely taking care of yourself.
I tried. I promised that. My mom would never let me go and do this again if I wouldn't come back.
Well, you did it, and maybe you will come back to the Tour Divide.
It's not on my nearest future plans. No, I think
That
I've been there now a couple of times, and I've done that. I think I proved my point by this point.
yeah,
So I think I can take it a bit easy now for a while.
yeah. So I hate to ask because you've only just finished this ride, but what are your ideas next? I know that you probably want to do Iditarod next winter, but like rest of the summer, what are your thoughts, feelings, desires?
I had ideas straight away when I'm finished. So that's for me. It's very easy to like. If I could do one thing, so I would race every weekend. Probably I would. I know Lorenz have this like live slow, ride fast stuff, and there's a lot of other riders that are like take care of yourself,
Yeah.
take it easy, do those races, but allow yourself to come back to rest. Nah, it's not for me. As I said, like I don't have any contract that says that I'll be able to ride my bike later and stuff, and I just want to do it now when I can do it.
Yeah.
So there are many plans A, B, and C and D, and the even more has been unlocked now because I mean there is this thing called Triple Crown, right?
That was on my list of suspicions is does this have you thinking maybe you're going to tackle the Triple Crown this year?
I mean, I never thought about doing that actually,
Mhm.
but because of how well this went and knowing that if I would want to do it again, or like if I would want to do the Triple Crown, that would involve doing another Tour Divide. It really makes me think that maybe I should just get it done now when I'm there. But on the other hand, I mean, these are all only the first world problems. I mean,
Yeah, of course.
yeah, either I want to go and do the Silk Road and kind of create my own Triple Crown, which would be Atlas, Tour Divide, and Silk Road. Sofiane is the only one that has done and won all those races, but not in a single year.
Yeah.
So I could try to do that in a single year, but I don't know if that's something I should chase. The other thing is like, yeah, I have this desire to finally try to get to the race without flying. So there is this GB Duro, which
Hmm.
which I would like. I mean, that's also happening in August. There's so many. There are so many, but yeah, talking about the big ones, and yeah, so next year I would love to do the Iditarod, yeah, the fat Vikings and fat biking stuff, which is which is another thing, and yeah, I have another goal, like another thing coming is that during Bright Midnight we will present a bit more than just Bright Midnight. There's gonna be new plans, so like there's been new ideas building and they will start taking shape. So yeah, look forward to hear more about some other stuff. And
You say you don't like plans, but I just keep hearing you talk about all of these,
I mean,
plans.
I like ideas. I like to build ideas, but like out of my 2,000 ideas, only 10 takes reality. So, and if 10 takes reality, it's already good.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I feel like I've taken enough of your time. I do want to shout out your race, Bright Midnight in Norway, which I think is such an amazing contribution back to the community. I mean, it makes me laugh every time you do a race when you're posting videos in the middle of the night saying, if you were at Bright Midnight, you would see this. I was like, that's the best promo ever.
Yeah, I strongly believe in that. That's why I do it.
It's so good. Is the race full for this year?
Yeah, I would say that. Like, I wouldn't want to have any more at this point because this is another reason why I would want to stop doing those Tour de Whites because then I could. I needed to do a lot of work before I left, just so that because now the race starts in 2 weeks, exactly
Crazy.
like in 2 weeks I'm gonna be back home and then the race starts. Like I'll be back home on Wednesday and then I have just a bit more than a week to prepare myself for the people for the all beautiful people to come to Little Tolga and get themselves ready to rumble. But so that's why those third wides could stop.
Yeah. It's tricky timing. Well, I'm excited to see whatever you've got amazing ideas. All of them would be good ones. It just depends on where you're most excited, right? And what feels like the thing that you're going to be excited to do. And so whatever that is, I'm sure it will be amazing.
I hope so. I really hope
Well,
so.
I think it's time for you to get a beer. Continue to continue to celebrate. Seriously, I can't believe you're in such good shape and you are
Why
just
wouldn't I
down.
be? I mean, I was taking care of myself for once. I was enjoying it. Like I didn't fuck me up. Like I really tried to do good, and that's what I did, and I'm just happy about it.
I love it. I mean, I think all of this is to say that we're only just starting to see your potential because you're fixing the mistakes. You're taking care of yourself, and I think that it's only means there's more to come from you.
Hopefully, we'll see.
Yeah.
You never know. Like this is what I love the most about those ultra races. That if someone would tell me that you will finish all the one, like every single one you started, I wouldn't want to do them. Like I love
Mhm.
this factor of unknownness that you don't know what's gonna happen, how it's gonna unfold, like the weather, like yeah, there's so many things that can happen.
Cool. Yeah. So many things that can happen. Well,
What
thank
possibly could go wrong, huh?
you got to be a glass half full person when you're racing. You got to believe that things won't go wrong. You have the ability to fix them if they do, but you got to believe that they're going to work out and you can deal with it if they don't.
Very true.
Yeah. Well, Thank you. Do you prefer to be called Justin or Justinas? I should have asked you that at the beginning.
It's my mother called me Justinas, but
Justinas.
but I answer Justinas, and I don't want to make people like, yeah, it's much easier for my English version of my name is Justin, so I answer to that as
There.
good as I would answer to Justinas.
Well, there we go. Well, everybody follow Justin and Bikes on Instagram because the videos are coming. I saw one of you talking about where you pointed your pee and it ended up somewhere different. So, no doubt there's other high quality things
Yeah.
coming. And congratulations on an exceptional, amazing ride. Seriously, well done. I hope you are over the moon.
I'm happy to tell you the
Yeah.
truth, and I'm good. So thank you so much. I mean, it's crazy that more people trusted and believed in my ability to take this one than I did in myself, and I think this is what I'm so happy about, that I managed to prove it to myself and managed to give this victory to all the people that really wished that for me. So I think this is what I'm most happy about. Yeah, if you would ask me again the same question, where like what you are most happy about, so that I was able to pull this one off and make so many people happy, because I got so many messages.
Oh,
I still haven't answered them all, so it's crazy. The amount of support has been amazing, and yeah, yeah. So now I found the better answer. This is the better answer.
I like that answer. I like that answer. Well, enjoy the rest of your night. I can't wait for people to listen to this one. Seriously, so inspiring. And next time we see each other, I'll get you a beer.
Oh, you promised.
I promise. Hopefully, Silk Road this summer, but I also understand if you want to go do other things.
Yeah, as I said, I'm still in brainstorming mood, and some of those decisions would require some sponsorship, which I don't have yet. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Cool. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
You're the best.